With the release of the Steam Machine approaching, I feel like gaming is taking on a whole new era. PC gamers have always had it pretty bad in the accessibility and shareability department. Plugging in controls to a laptop, wires trailing across the living room, it's just not it. I've always been a PC gamer, so when the Steam Deck released in February 2022, it gave us types of gamers a home, an easy way to share gaming experiences, play split screen without a precarious setup ritual. I pretty much use my Steam Deck docked most of the time, and it's kind of become a home console for us. It's been supporting my family's shared gaming sessions ever since 2022. It hasn't always been ideal, but it works. Valve has spent the last few years refining SteamOS to be a valid competitor to Sony, Xbox, and Nintendo, refining all of Steam's features and incrementally adding new ones. So I want to answer the question, is making the switch to Steam's ecosystem worth it for families in 2026 for the arrival of the new Steam Machine? To answer this, I'll cover my family's experience with the Steam Deck over the last 4 years. So, my family consists of me, my wife, and our 9-year-old daughter. Steam Store can be a little weird sometimes. One of the questions parents will have on their mind is this child friendly? Luckily, Steam's parental controls are actually pretty good and have a granular application. The store can be restricted so that inappropriate content is filtered out, and parental controls let you refine what games appear in a child's library, so that we can ensure the content that she has access to is appropriate for her age. There are playtime limits if you're into that kind of thing too. The parental controls can be tuned tight enough that young gamers can still have the freedom to explore Steam's features, like the News tab, while remaining relatively sheltered from disturbing content. As cool as the Community tab is, I can't recommend this as a feature for families because I found this within 30 seconds. Even though restricted content is checked, I'm sure it has holes and drawbacks, but with the right settings it's worked for us, without impeding on our child's fun or freedom. I think Steam is pretty child-friendly, providing there is an adult around to tune the settings. I would not recommend letting your child raw dog an adult account though. Steam mobile apps are fantastically integrated into the PC app, and anyone that uses Steam and doesn't have this app, what are you even doing, man? Steam's main mobile app has just about every feature you would need to access remotely. Most notably the QR code scanning to log in securely on other devices, which makes using different devices very easy. Say you forgot to log out of a shared device. You can forcibly do that through the Steam app. You can also moderate pretty much all of your family controls, catch up on gaming news, or just browse the sales on the store from your bed to buy a stupid amount of games you'll never play. Honestly, I think I use this app every single day just to browse the store. But there is another Steam app that gets used a lot in our household that I don't hear mentioned a lot, which is Steam Link. Steam Link is an app which allows a device logged into Steam to share their screen and inputs. For example, I can log in my Android tablet and control the PC that is running Steam in another room. One thing this is handy for is quick local co-op sessions. Most of the time, how this works for us is I play on my Steam Deck and my wife joins me with an Android tablet and Bluetooth controller. Heck, if she wanted to join from her phone and torch herself by playing with the touchscreen, she could do that too. Obviously, it can have some latency drawbacks with a poor connection, but it works seamlessly for us 9 times out of 10. I can't overstate how much this app has facilitated our gaming sessions. We probably use this app at least 3 times a week, and without it, I'm not sure half of those couch co-op sessions would have even happened due to the extra setup required. If you have a smart TV, you should be able to install this app. When we recorded this gameplay of Domekeeper, I was playing on the Steam Deck and my wife is playing on the TV via Steam Link. The amount of times this app has added convenience to our lives can't be overstated. Just to be able to see my screen from my phone in about 10 seconds flat has helped me out so many times. For example, there have been times when downloading a file or rendering a video, I leave to another room, or perhaps I go to bed and forget to turn my Steam Deck off. No problem. Phone, Steam Link, shut down remotely. I also use this app to monitor our daughter from the kitchen. just in case you get stuck on a game, as she is still new to mouse and keyboard controlled games. And it's free. The fact that this app is just part and parcel of being part of the Steam ecosystem without spending a single penny is absolutely astounding to me. Steam's store has to be one of the biggest selling points, right? Is there anyone who doesn't know that? The sales are famous for being such stupid good value that sometimes it feels a bit wrong. You guys doom scroll TikTok, and my doom scrolling is the Steam store. There are sales for literally every occasion. Steam Next Fest is a treat to be a part of, and if you want to be on the cutting edge of indie games, it's arguable that you need to be in Steam's ecosystem. The news section to subscribe to news on your favorite games, the community feature, and the wishlist feature, which also sends you notifications to your phone if you have the Steam app installed, letting you know when a good sale has dropped. I don't want to explain these features too much, as this isn't meant to be an exhaustive video about the store, and I feel like those features are pretty standard, but they are done well. Making sure you're getting your money's worth is a goal for any family in 2026, and Steam delivers on that over and over again. Building a library on Steam is just ridiculously easy. All it takes is a little time and spare change, and you end up with a very long backlog in no time. Speaking of Steam Store, if you are a family looking into Steam, perhaps you have young children constantly demanding for something novel to do, Steam's demos have got you. If you are ever bored and looking for something to do, there are so many good demos floating around on Steam. Honestly, if you wanted to be a cheap ass and game exclusively through free-to-play demos, I wouldn't judge, because there's genuinely good fun to be had here. Now, this seems like a weird thing to recommend for families, but hear me out. My child doesn't have access to copious amounts of games. She has a small rotating library that shifts around a bit every few months, because I think that's what's best for her development. However, no matter what we do, this new breed of kids bore extremely easily, even with the best entertainment available in human history. And in that case, it's nice to throw a few demos on our account every once in a while. Sometimes when she has a break from school, we download a handful of demos and she really looks forward to it and has a blast trying them all out. We even had an evening where we passed the pad, playing Bits and Bops demo, and we all took turns trying to get a perfect run. Totally fun, family-friendly activity that didn't cost a penny. It's also a really nice way to see if a game is for you or not before you go and blow £50 on it and the devs shut down the game a week later. Peer-to-peer downloads is also a really nice feature that has saved us at least a few hours. This feature allows two machines running Steam on the same network to share downloaded games locally. For example, when I wanted to download Palworld to my wife's PC, I was able to transfer the file directly from my Steam Deck rather than initiating a new download from Valve servers. This may seem like a small deal until you realize the freedom it gives you. Before we ever go anywhere, I don't feel like I have to prep devices in advance. If we are somewhere without a reliable connection, an Ethernet cable or tethering to my phone will do just fine, and I can transfer my games and set up a co-op session later on. Family library sharing. I'd like to say I left this to the end intentionally, but I actually forgot because I'm so used to it. Steam has absolutely spoiled me, I guess. But the fact of the matter is, this is our most used feature by a long shot. I want a game, we all get a copy. My wife wants a game, we all get a copy. My child literally has a gaming backlog looming over her head that she doesn't even know exists. The way family sharing works on Steam is two accounts can join together to make a family group. From then on, all family members share their libraries. The only restriction being, if you have one copy of a game, only one person can play it online at a time. If you want to play together online, you need 2 copies. That's it. That's pretty fair, no? And speaking of family sharing, cloud saves. Steam's cloud save feature is a bit of an unsung hero. This one's easy to forget about because it quietly just does its job. Every time you stop playing a game, Steam uploads your save file to the cloud, allowing you to continue elsewhere on any device. Scenario: hey, it's time to log out the game, we're going to visit family. My daughter quits the game, we travel, or all I bring is my phone. Get there, log into a family member's PC by scanning a QR code with Steam's Authenticator app. Continue the game on a different device. It's that easy. Some of you may think that's totally unremarkable, but my millennials out there who are just beginning to start their families know exactly what I'm talking about. When we live in a world where Nintendo still requires an annual fee just to play online, and games are priced at £80, we can't take little things like this for granted. I'm only just scratching the surface, and I'm sure I've missed a lot. But these are the features that my family use the most. Don't get me wrong, SteamOS has its downsides, and there are plenty of optimizations for game devs and Valve to work on. This last 3 years has come with growing pains, to say the least. But that's exactly what they are, growing pains. And I do think Valve is growing in the right direction and providing a lot of hope when it comes to Steam's ecosystem. My wife is way less tech savvy than I am. She would have not been able to manage gaming on the Steam Deck by herself 3 years ago. The amount of times I got stuck trying to make a game work, switching Proton layers, entering desktop mode, only for her to remark in the background,
"Man, I couldn't deal with this."
But the Steam Deck walked so that the SteamMachine can run, right? SteamOS is running into way less hitches for me these days. And I think if not now, very soon, it will be recommendable to any type of gamer. That's my take. Another factor is, unfortunately, a lot of PC games aren't made with the idea of local co-op or split screen in mind. That doesn't mean local co-op or the split screen library is lacking. There are still a ton of games to play. We've never been bored. But for example, Terraria's PC version does not have split screen, whereas the PlayStation version does. But I do think Valve is doing enough to give these game devs a reason to reconsider their design choices, and I'm sure the future is going to be a lot different. However, that is still a big factor to consider if you're going to be using this in a family setting. Despite all of these downsides, we've had a pretty stellar time with the Steam Deck over these last few years, and I can only assume that the SteamMachine will facilitate our family's gaming habits even better than before. If you watched all the way to the end, big up yourself. Hit sub to hear me ramble on about some other shite. If you're a PC native or thinking about making the switch, let's hear your opinions down below. Peace, 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 peace.